Hey everyone, I'm Michael from oneskyastrology. Welcome to another lunar cycle overview video. This is an exciting lunar cycle, mostly because the new moon is going to be a solar eclipse and the full moon is going to be a lunar eclipse. But there's a lot of interesting stuff happening, so let's jump right in. And right away we can see the sun and moon here at almost the 18th degree of the constellation of Sagittarius. And right away you're going to notice that we're not using conventional Western astrology or any kind of mainstream astrology, but we're using an astronomically accurate zodiac that plots the sign boundaries to the actual skies, the actual size and location of the constellations. This is called true Sidereal Astrology. So for most people, they won't be talking about a new moon on close to the 18th degree of Sagittarius, but astronomically, that's actually where it's happening. And Sagittarius is, of course, about expanse, about travel, philosophy, the bigger picture, the worldview that we hold. And a new moon is a time to set intentions around that. Maybe a time to set intentions about how we're going to expand. Uranus is just stationing direct, which means all the planets will be moving direct. And any intentions we set at this time, we may be able to really move forward with in a big way, especially anything around our higher self, our true self, things we might want to innovate or develop in the realm of the unique or individualistic aspects of our lives. With Uranus having spent some time in retrograde, now coming out of it is a time to begin to develop those things that maybe we've been considering, maybe we've been thinking on as far as those aspects of our life go. This eclipse is part of a cycle of eclipses, and these cycles are called Saros cycles. That's S-A-R-O-S. You can check that out, look that up for more info. Cycles of eclipse start at a pole. The first eclipse will hit at a pole, and then it'll make its way around the globe with a series of eclipses that these cycles last thousands of years, and over that time we get a chance to see what are the effects of that Saros cycle. This is from a cycle called North 2, and without wanting to say too much about Saros cycles, this is a scan from Bernadette Brady's book, The Eagle and the Lark. And in that book, she gives an outline of what we know about the Saros cycles. This eclipse is concerned with unusual groups and the individual's involvement with those groups. This could be the time when the individual notices or suddenly desires to find a particular group whose concerns would be with healing, the arts, or the love of humanity. The individual will feel that through involvement with such a group, he or she will gain a great deal. So it could be a great time to give some consideration to that, set intentions around that. If through Uranus retrograde you've had any kind of considerations about wanting to link up, find your tribe, join an organization, join a group to further your life, further your aims. The wind is definitely at your back. The cosmic forces are definitely supporting that right now. We do see with this eclipse that we're conjunct. The sun and moon are conjunct to Pluto, and they're conjunct to Saturn, and very close to fixed star Nunki. And this could lend some depth. This could lend some transformative quality. Throughout the course of this lunar cycle, we're going to see Venus stay trine up to Mars. So it's a great time for relationships, a great time for love, connection, any kind of development in that area is really going to be supported and get a nice boost from that Venus trine Mars. And Mars is here conjunct Chiron, so there may be some healing that comes out of that with that Venus trine. Uranus is trining up to Mercury, and that could lend itself to some new ways of thinking. We do see some squares. Mercury square Mars can lead to some agitation. What that's asking for is patience and self-control. And we see Pluto square up to Uranus, which is an interesting square because it's not a close square. It's actually 7 degrees and 50 minutes of orb there off of exactitude. But it is a square that is known to create upheaval. So maybe some shifts to the structure of things in our lives, maybe some shifts to the structure of things in the world. We'll have to see. It'll be interesting to watch. Then, moving forward, just want to glance at the waxing quarter moon on January 14th, because that Uranus-Pluto relationship becomes, again, a little more pronounced. Uranus and Pluto are still in square, and the sun has moved to conjunct Pluto, while the moon has moved into Pisces to conjunct Uranus. And that'll be, again, the waxing quarter moon. I look at the quarterly cycles of the lunar cycle just to get an idea of some of the key points. So looking at that, we can still see, again, Venus trine up to Mars, and Jupiter in the last degree of Scorpio, about to move into Ophiuchus. Not a lot happening here that I want to focus on in the interest of time. I'm going to move on to this full moon. On January 21st, 2019, we'll have our first full moon of the year. It's going to be in the constellation of Cancer, and it's going to be reflecting the light of the Sagittarius Capricorn cusp. So that cusp is a great balance. It's Jupiter and Saturn's balance. It's the balance between expanse, hope, ideas, optimism, and contraction, discipline, reserve, all the things that allow us to build in the everyday life and develop our plans. We do see that the node is here and conjunct the moon, which means this full moon is also going to be an eclipse. And so it is eclipse season. That tends to stir things up a little bit. Tends to lead to some things being kickstarted, some pretty rapid kickstarts in all kinds of areas. There's there's no telling what an eclipse will do for you. It has a lot to do with individuals' natal charts, and it's it's a little wonky. It's a little unpredictable. So I don't want to say that this lunar eclipse is going to have a broad effect. I don't even want to say that that solar eclipse is going to have the same effect for everybody, but these are patterns that have been noted through history. Here we have that Mars-Venus trine joined by Jupiter moving into a fucus, and Venus is moving up to conjunct Jupiter. And this cusp is a powerful cusp, a powerful transformative cusp. So we do see more of the energy of transformation and change. In this case, maybe more about relationships, maybe more about, maybe more around, good fortune too. Having some good fortune, and where we're driven to put our energies, how we approach relationships, how we balance masculine and feminine forces in our lives. Very auspicious, Jupiter-Venus conjunction. And with that moon in Cancer trine up to Chiron in Pisces, we might see a little bit of emotional healing with this full moon too. All good things to keep in mind when you're setting your intentions on the new moon. The new moon is the time to go into meditation, to develop our intentions for that cycle, in this case maybe for the year. And the full moon is the time to really work through that waxing cycle to achieve the fruition, the fullness, the fruit of that tree that we plant. And then that waning cycle is a time to reflect, to integrate, to begin to make space for the next cycle. And again, with the waning quarter moon, just want to take a glance at this. There's always a lot going on, and I don't want to overanalyze the chart, but we do see Jupiter and Venus in a fucus entering into conjunction with the galactic center. And all the planets have been on one side of the chart for quite a while now. So this is going to mark the last passage over the galactic center of planets Jupiter and Venus. Maybe a little bit of a powerful boost, maybe a bit of a reset to those energies in our lives. Jupiter being generally our faith, our hope, our optimism, our dreams, goals. Dreams in the sense of idealistic dreams, not our literal sleeping, entering the dream state dreams. But Venus is our appreciation, our relationships, our values, our ideals, also finance. So those are going to be coming into a very powerful place in the chart, the galactic center, the supermassive black hole around which the Milky Way spins, organizes itself. We see Venus still trine up to Mars. We see Jupiter still trine up to Mars. Very auspicious. And we do see Jupiter trine up to Uranus. So as we enter that waning quarter phase and begin to pull back into reflection, begin to process those eclipses and the energies of all the planets being direct in our lives, things moving forward. The sun is in Capricorn, so it'll be a good time to sit with that in an impartial way, in an impersonal way, and just see these patterns in our lives. I think that's about all I want to say for this video. I do encourage you to take into consideration these cycles when you're placing your intentions in the soil of your psyche, in the soil of your heart, around the new moon. I do encourage everybody to pay attention to lunar cycles. Any intention that you set around a new moon is going to be very supported moving forward. It's as if all the forces of the the universe, or at least the solar system, are with you. And it's a powerful practice that I've found to be very efficacious in my life. So, alright everybody, before I go, I want to give a huge shout out to Alicia at tidesofio.space, and I'll leave a link down to that in the description. Alicia is the friend and force of nature in my life which introduced me to true Sidereal Astrology. She's a fellow student of Athens Chimentes, and without her I would still be wondering why tropical astrology was so wonky, topsy-turvy. And Alicia, thank you, and I want to shout you out and hope people go to you for consultation. Alright everyone, thanks for watching, and I'll see you throughout this cycle for some more videos. Bye.